Queensland will rely on gas exports to reignite economic growth over the next 2 years. The Treasurer has delivered an austere budget for 2013-14 due to an economic slowdown and declining revenue. Political reporter Chris O'Brien is at Parliament House. Chris, not what Tim Nicholls wanted to deliver.
No, Karina, Tim Nicholls was hoping that the second Newman Government budget would be more cheerful after last year having to make 14,000 cuts to the public service. But the hard reality is that this mid-term budget is a no-frills, bare-bones affair with no new household measures to protect them from the cost of living and some pain for business as well. All brought on by shrinking revenue, forcing the government to tighten its expenditures. Looking at the figures, we are expecting $44.7 billion in revenue next financial year. That's $3.5 billion less than forecast last year. Expenditure, $48.4 billion. That's slightly up on last year, but it's the lowest increase in expenditure for 15 years.
So, Chris, the budget stays in the red for another 2 years then?
It does, Karina. Having a look at those figures, the deficit for the current financial year will be $8.7 billion. Next year, $7.7 billion is the forecast. Better in 2014-15 with a $244 million deficit. Then a return to surplus a year later than expected, 2015-16, a $1.1 billion surplus. But in the meantime, that means no rebate for general households for electricity, an expanded and increased fire levy, more expensive insurance, and for businesses, a delay in the relief they were expecting for payroll tax. But general spending on core services such as health and education will go up, meaning 267 more police, 724 new teachers and support staff, and 155 new and replacement ambulances.
You can see that the level of increase in expenditure on health, the level of increase in the expenditure of education. You can see some of the investments we've made in some of the areas have been quite substantial, and I think they are good things to deliver for the people of Queensland. This is not in the style of former Labor state budgets going around with shiny baubles out there. This is a hard work, taking the ball up the middle, doing a hard yards budget.
So the Treasurer Tim Nicholls there. So Chris, any improvement then depends on the LNG industry and avoiding natural disasters.
Absolutely, Karina. With those disasters, the Treasurer telling us today $9.3 billion over 3-year period because of cyclones and floods. And in terms of LNG, that is a big deal because in 2015-16 there's a big prediction of those exports coming in for the economy, meaning that economic growth, which has slowed to 3%, could double to 6%. But the opposition is taking credit for that.
It seems as though the only way, in their view, they're going to be able to get back to surplus is by riding on the back of the gas industry, something that the Labor government put in place in the last term of government and over several years. This is an important point.
But, Karina, the question will be whether the royalties from those LNG exports will be enough to boost the budget bottom line.
Chris O'Brien at Parliament House, thank you.